Combat Intelligence in the Martial Arts, The Mind Behind the Technique, by Sifu McCarthy. In the world of martial arts, strength, speed, and technical skill are often seen as the core pillars of mastery. Yet beneath every great fighter lies a quality far more decisive than raw power or precision: combat intelligence. This term describes the ability to read, interpret, and adapt within the chaos of a fight. It is the unseen factor that turns instinct into insight and transforms mechanical motion into calculated action. Combat intelligence blends awareness, strategy, and emotional control into one unified discipline. It is not simply knowing how to fight, but understanding why and when to fight, and above all, how to think in combat. Defining combat intelligence in martial arts. Combat intelligence, at its essence, is the martial artist's mental and perceptual edge. It represents the fusion of instinct, analysis, and composure under stress. Unlike rote technique or repetitive drills, combat intelligence allows the fighter to interpret a constantly changing situation and respond fluidly. A martial artist with combat intelligence perceives the subtleties of rhythm, timing, and emotion within an opponent. They recognize openings others miss and remain calm when chaos rises. In essence, it is the difference between fighting and understanding combat, between reaction and response. Combat intelligence also extends inward. It is the self-awareness of one's body, mind, and emotions during the fight. A skilled fighter not only studies an opponent's movement but also monitors their own tension, breathing, and psychological state. When fear or fatigue sets in, combat intelligence helps the martial artist regain clarity and control, preventing panic and wasted effort. It becomes a conversation between inner stability and outer awareness. Core components of combat intelligence. The structure of combat intelligence is built upon several vital components, each cultivated through discipline and deliberate training. First, perception and situational awareness are the foundation. The martial artist must develop what some call soft eyes, vision that remains relaxed yet perceptive, able to see the whole environment rather than fixating on a single point. This awareness involves reading subtle signals, the shifting of an opponent's weight, the tightening of a shoulder, or a change in breathing. Every movement tells a story, and the intelligent fighter learns to listen to it. Second, pattern recognition and rhythm allow the practitioner to anticipate rather than merely react. Every opponent has habits, preferred combinations, predictable setups, or emotional triggers. By studying these, a martial artist can disrupt the opponent's rhythm and impose their own. When you can read a pattern, you gain control of the tempo. When you control the tempo, you dictate the fight. Third, decision-making under pressure is the heart of applied combat intelligence. In a real encounter, time evaporates. There is no opportunity for long thought, only trained instinct. Intelligent decision-making means acting decisively with limited information, choosing the most effective response without hesitation. This quality is built not by theory but by experience and repetition under realistic conditions. Fourth, emotional regulation ensures clarity amid chaos. Fear, frustration, and adrenaline are natural, but they can narrow perception and cause rash decisions. Through sparring, breath control, and stress inoculation, martial artists learn to keep emotions from overriding judgment. The calm fighter sees more, wastes less energy, and maintains focus when others crumble. Finally, adaptability defines the mature stage of combat intelligence. No plan survives the first exchange. Adaptability is the ability to shift tactics the instant a plan fails. It means flowing between offense and defense, striking and grappling, aggression and patience. Like water taking the shape of any container, the intelligent fighter reshapes their strategy to the moment. Why combat intelligence matters more than technique? Technique alone is not enough. Many martial artists know countless moves, yet few understand timing, distance, or energy management at a high level. Combat intelligence gives context to technique, turning memorized forms into living strategy. It teaches when to attack, when to feint, when to disengage, and when to preserve energy. A fighter who understands the fight can overcome one who merely executes techniques. Combat intelligence also brings efficiency and composure. It prevents overreaction, reduces wasted motion, and promotes control over emotion and energy. When a fighter possesses this intelligence, they no longer fight against their opponent, they fight with the situation, shaping it to their advantage. It is the quiet confidence that arises from understanding both the external dynamics of combat and the internal rhythm of the self. Developing combat intelligence in martial arts like physical skill, combat intelligence must be trained. It does not appear through theory alone, but through disciplined experience and reflection. The first step is mindset and study. Reading classic martial texts such as The Art of War, The Book of Five Rings, or Bruce Lee's writings reveals the timeless mental strategies behind combat. Understanding that every fight is both physical and psychological deepens a practitioner's approach. A martial artist must learn to view combat as dialogue, each attack and counter as communication between two minds. Next comes observation training. Instructors often emphasize physical repetition, but observation sharpens the unseen. Watching others spar, analyzing how fights unfold, and predicting movements develop anticipatory vision. Exercises like mirror drills, slow sparring, and peripheral vision training teach the fighter to read intent before movement even begins. Stress exposure and pressure testing are also crucial. Calm cannot be faked, it is forged. Controlled sparring, timed drills, and tournament experience create familiarity with adrenaline and unpredictability. Over time, fear becomes a signal rather than a barrier. The fighter learns that under pressure, clarity can still exist, and that composure is the truest form of confidence. Another essential element is decision training. Rapid reaction drills, defensive scenarios, and unpredictable partner attacks teach the brain to make effective choices instantly. This strengthens the combat brain, where cognition and instinct merge. Alongside this, breath control acts as a stabilizer, regulating heart rate and preserving mental focus. Breath connects mind and body. Through it, control is maintained even when fatigue and stress peak. Finally, adaptive sparring and self-reflection transform experience into growth. Training with diverse partners forces constant adjustment, preventing stagnation. After each session, a fighter should review performance, noting what patterns appeared, what emotions surfaced, and what could improve. This process converts experience into wisdom, making every fight a lesson. The ethical core of combat intelligence. True combat intelligence is not rooted in domination or aggression but in understanding and restraint. The higher a martial artist's intelligence, the greater their responsibility to use it wisely. The ultimate form of mastery lies in control, of self, not merely of others. A fighter who truly understands combat often avoids unnecessary violence altogether. As Miyamoto Musashi wrote, the ultimate aim of martial arts is not having to use them. Combat intelligence teaches judgment, not just victory. This has been a Sifu Frank production. Like, comment or share.